So how do you choose who you're going to work with? That becomes like the first question here. It doesn't. Really what it boils down to is 4 quadrants: alignment, talent, budget, and timing. You know, it's interesting when people ask, you know, what sort of interior designer? If they choose me first and I'm the director of the project, and then we go out and interview interior designers, and they'll ask, you know, who should I choose? Which one do you like? In all honesty, there's so many interior designers that I've worked with that I absolutely love that I don't have a recommendation, because in the end, if you think about it, you're about to enter into a relationship with a whole bunch of people for a long period of time. A custom home isn't designed and built in 2 weeks. There's going to be a lot of issues that come up, a lot of problems, a lot of problem-solving things that we have to do together, budget things that get overrun, and then some things under. Anyway, let's just say it's a complex relationship of just stuff that we all have to do together. And so you want a good team who can help problem solve. In the end, that's what we want best, is problem solvers who have personalities that mix with your personality, that can help make this design process and build process nice, who can set up expectations so that you don't think everything has to be this. If you're a perfectionist, it's like, you know what, we better find a builder who's a perfectionist. Really what it boils down to is, do they have a portfolio that if you could look at any of their pictures and say, man, I would live in that house. I love that interior. It's a portfolio. Do they have work that you love? Number 2, is it within your budget? And then number 3 is, do they have a personality? Because you're going to be working with them for a few years. And if you do that backwards and you go with, oh, I love the personality, but they can't execute, oh, it doesn't matter how good their personality is, because you're going to get frustrated along the way. You're like, oh, I can't afford it, so I'm going to go with the less budget person. Oh, shoot, I certainly like them, but I don't want to tell them I hate them now because they couldn't execute. So really what it boils down to is talent level. That alignment and talent level is the most important thing if you are particular, so that you can figure out, set up your expectations to align talent with budget and executables. When it comes to builders, there are some builders who can do traditional architecture. There's some builders who can do modern architecture. There's some builders who can do both. Very few, but there are, and they're expensive. And so when we're determining budget and we're determining the level of finishes that you're willing to tolerate or accept, that will help determine what builder is going to be best in alignment for you. And that's more important. The ability to execute the project is more important than it's a cost plus 10, cost plus 18, cost plus whatever, versus a builder who's a flat fee. Because in the end, if they can't execute the project, or if you have to redo so much stuff that it ends up costing more anyway, or you have to fire them and then finish and do it yourself, you should have just hired the more expensive person in the first place. And it's not necessarily a more expensive person, it's the person who can actually execute the project you want. And so hire design professionals who have experience with multiple builders, and they can direct you towards the right ones who can make sure your project is a success.